Hello and welcome viewers, I am Pia and you're watching NewsX. Now commercial LPG prices across India have been increased by rupees 42 to rupees 53.40 per cylinder. The price hike comes amid concerns over fuel supply security and efforts to strengthen LPG reserves following recent disruptions linked to the West Asia conflict. The price of a 19-kilogram commercial LPG cylinder in New Delhi has been raised by rupees 42, taking the retail price to rupees 3,113.50. Oil prices have risen now more than 3% after Iran and the United States traded strikes and Israel ordered troops to move further into Lebanon in its battle with Hezbollah. Brent futures has risen by $2.93 or 3.2% to $94.05 a barrel. US crude futures has risen by $3.36 or 3.9% to $90.72 a barrel over May. Brent and WTI have lost around 19% and 17% respectively. Meanwhile, the fighting in West Asia after Washington hosted Israel-Lebanon peace talks has dimmed hopes that the US and Iran could soon announce an extension to their ceasefire. Joining me on the broadcast is Dr. Sharad Kohli, Senior Economist, Ms. Mithali Nikole, Senior Economist, and Mr. Rajat Mishra, Senior Economist as well. Thank you so much for taking out time and speaking to us on NewsX. Dr. Kohli, I'd like to rope you into the discussion first. What do you make of all the numbers that we've been seeing? Of course, what we've seen over the last 24 hours has of course reignited the supply fears, and therefore the oil prices have jumped. It's in fact a rebound from a 6-week low.
Good afternoon, Pia. Good evening, whatever, to my fellow panelists, you and the viewers. I think this game of yes and no in Strait of Hormuz seems to be never ending. You know, people will stop believing a truce now. Even when the truce was there were some missiles fired from here and there. Not sure where this is going to end, or is this ever going to end. But in the meanwhile, people across the world, including India, are suffering. You know, that chotu cylinder, that tiny little cylinder of 5 kilograms. I was saying that who are the users, and I actually went out for some time. And I found, you know, those small migratory workers with small kitchens, you know, the roadside vendors, students. These are the people using this cylinder. So even 11 rupees on that cylinder matters a lot to them, because they are the last in the queue as far as the income levels are concerned. Number one. Number two, you know, commercial cylinders, get ready. You know, 30 to 3100 plus increase in commercial cylinder. I think your favorite Shahi Paneer, Dal Makhani, and your favorite pasta at a counter at a wedding, they are all going to go up, because catering industry, restaurant industry, as it is, these guys, you know, some of the smaller restaurants had closed down because they were not able to find these cylinders. And the pressure on domestic cylinder is going to come, Priya. Not many people know that a lot of these restaurants, I'm going to open it today on your channel, they were buying domestic red colored cylinder in black. In fact, the fact that the red color cylinder was selling in unofficial market is because a lot of restaurants had pulled out those cylinders at a higher price, which is why the domestic users had to stand in the queue. That was one of the main reasons. This is going to further increase that problem, you know. So I think people of the country must get ready for inflation. 8.33 was the wholesale price index. And I think I have my fellow economists sitting here. Nobody better than them would understand that this converts to retail price inflation in the months to come. Number one. Number two, you know, the diesel increase is going to have a cascading effect, and you're going to see inflation. You know, the consumer price index in the months to come, Pia, are going to, you know, is going to be very high. And I think that is where my fear comes from. I'm not worried, you know, what Donald Trump and Iran are doing. I am worried about my own little economy. You know, a common man on the street, Pia, is not even worried about country's fiscal deficit and country's forex reserves. They are worried about what happens to their own little economy at home. Well, the fact of the matter is, and the bitter truth is, that the grocery bill is going to go up. Your food vegetable bill is going to go up. Your transportation cost is going to go up. Your savings are going to get eroded. I have a suggestion, Pia, today through your show, which I would also like my fellow economists to comment upon, that I think the government of India must call on the war footing an emergency meeting of all the ministers, and the entire government machinery must get on to the ground. There is a saying in Hindi which says "Bheti Ganga mein haath dhona." Lot of industries which are not directly impacted by imported fuel or whatever, they are also increasing the price, notwithstanding, of course, that diesel has gone up. But they're under the garb of general inflation talk of the town, they are trying to rob people of money. So my suggestion to the government is that please get on the ground before things go out of control. All your ministers, all your machinery, bureaucrats, and the entire system must get onto the ground. Go to the shops, go to e-commerce platforms, make sure, hold their hands if they're trying to increase the prices for no reason. I think otherwise there's going to be hue and cry in the months to come, Pia. I have no doubt. May sense prevail on the great man called Donald Trump. God knows when sense will prevail. He's sort of stuck there. He can't go back. He can't move forward. He's too scared to hit Iran again. And the divisive forces in Iran is another concern. We saw President Pezeshkian offering to resign. IRGC seems to be having control of Iran, which means that all the conditions laid down in the Truce Pact are not going to get on the ground because they are not willing to give up uranium. They are not willing to give up their missile program. So what happens? This is just going to go on and on. And every passing day, Pia, is going to put pressure. The under recovery of the oil marketing companies is hovering on our head. You don't know when you wake up in the morning and today CNG has gone up today, Chotu cylinder has gone up today, the big cylinder has gone up, or petrol has gone up, diesel has gone up. I think these little price increases are going to creep into your household budgets like the way seepage happens in the rainy season in any house, Pia.
Absolutely. And I'd like to rope in Ms. Mitali Nikore into the discussion over here. Something that Dr. Kohli had mentioned was retail price inflation and the fact that we're likely to see this happening in the coming months because this war is not stopping. As Dr. Kohli pointed out, Donald Trump has a point to make. So therefore, he's dug his heels in and he's not budging from his position. But how will this then, the retail price inflation, if this war continues, how is this likely to impact consumption patterns and behavior of people at large, and what would then be the cascading effect on the Indian economy?
Thanks a lot for bringing me into the discussion and completely agree with Dr. Kohli and a lot of his observations as always. I think the main thing that we have to think about here is what is already happening. The first signs of the inflation increasing are already in front of us because we've seen the wholesale price inflation increase from like 2 or 3% to almost 8% in just the last month. And that, of course, is a leading indicator which gives us a sense of what is going to happen with the retail price inflation. Yet, I would still say the last reading we had on the retail price inflation was around 3.8%, which came towards the mid of April. I think that with this current set of fuel price increases, which only happened last week, we still have about a window of a month before the retail price inflation really spikes up. We might see that spike really somewhere coming around July, mid July, or early August. And we still have a little bit of a window of time. Now, in this window of time, we can hope that the fuel price increases are rolled back with improving situation in the Middle East and in the West Asia crisis. But if that does not happen, then we should be braced and be prepared for more increases in retail price inflation. I think one thing that will start to happen is that people are already rationalizing their usage in response to the call that was made by the Prime Minister. People are already trying to understand ways of working from home, ways of reducing their travel, ways of reducing air travel, and even travel outside of the cities, outside of the country, especially because of the foreign exchange situation.
Yes.
I think that will help to slow down the increase in inflation because every time the main driver for inflation is if we are all paying a higher price, but we're also paying, for more number of goods and services, the rise in inflation is faster. If people are little more controlled, if they are more discerning with their purchases, with their consumption, we might be able to arrest the increase in inflation. So I do feel that we have a good 2 month window before it really starts to hit us.
Absolutely. And I'd also like to rope in Mr. Rajat Mishra into the discussion over here. Ms. Nikore has pointed out that yes, we do have a little window of about a month or so to strategize in order to cushion the blow of the retail inflation. But I also want to point out how the markets have been behaving at large across the world. They're in the red. The BSE Sensex is 508.40 points down today. Nifty, of course, is 165.15 points down today as well. What's interesting is that they started off quite strong earlier this morning. Despite the fact that the prices have been increasing, they started by gaining about 1%, and now they're down by about 0.68% and 0.70%. How can we expect the markets to behave if the war continues to have its ramifications on the oil prices?
Thank you so much. See, what earlier she was talking about, especially the numbers, right? See, the thing is, the numbers will have its impact in the policy and also the decisions of monetary committees of RBI. But those numbers will come much later. But the impact of inflation is being felt by the people. And that has been a very, very significant impact till now. And this is going to also impact on the stock market performances. Because if you look at the FMCG companies and their profits of last quarter, there is a trend which is indicating that people are buying. It's not that the consumers are going away from the purchasing this, but they are becoming very, very rational. They are trying to ration few things and also trying not to buy unimportant things. And this is very significant. If you look at the stock market figures, one reason is structural problems of Indian economy, which has been going on even for the last year as well. That is taking impact. However, the major proportion, major reason right now is definitely the Strait of Hormuz crisis and FIIs going out of India. Because in just last 4-5 months, we have seen more than 20 lakh crore, or I think around 25 lakh crore now. That much amount has been taken out by FIIs. So and also net FDI is almost 0% for India. That is a very, very challenging task. And for that, we require a lot of new changes, maybe new strategies, which RBI, along with fiscal policy, that is Government of India and Finance Ministry, needs to do something big on it. That is the major thing which is going to transform or at least turn the Indian stock market, because you're saying the entire, let's say, global market is in red. No, it's not the scenarios. 30th March was the date when US stock market was at lowest. After that, within 2 months, it has given the recovery of almost 20%. So the problem is big with Indian stock market because of falling Indian rupee, as well as FIIs taking out, and a sense of frustration and a sense of stagnation, which is creeping in along with creeping inflation, along with slow growth. That is a problem which Indian economy is facing right now, which is affecting Indian stock market.
Absolutely. I request all our guests to stay on with us because now we're tracking some breaking